ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba da ba 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 da boom do bom bom do boom do bom wow 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 wow. Hello everyone, my name's Stonesy Boy and welcome back to Stonesy Reads, where today we're actually going to do a short video. Last time we heard the sad demise of Stanley. Today, I don't know. But, yeah, this will be a nice reading. A nice and quick reading. It's a bright sunny day, the kind of day that makes you feel like you have to do something. You have to do something fun or you have to be productive. Devin used his index and middle fingers to make air quotes, trusting no one that would notice a chew on cute tiles and bitten down nails. When he's continued in when he hoped was an ominous tone, it's the kind of day when your mom makes you mow the lawn, but today isn't a mowing day. Today's is a birthday party. Devin heard rustling in the classroom. Someone snickered, and he didn't look up from his papers. He kept his head bent, and his long hair changed into a protective shield between him and the class. Normally, he hated having to stand in front of the class for any reason, but today, he was on a mission. If he had to read a stupid assignment for English class, he was going to make it work for him. Devin continued with his story, dribbling the birthday party scene from the back of screaming 4-year-olds. He read about the balloons and clowns and bright-colored bounce house set up in the middle of the green lawn. But this isn't any ordinary bounce house, Devin read. No one knows that yet, but they're going to find out now. Devin paused for effect. He didn't hear anything for all his teacher, Mrs. Peterson, and his classmate had disappeared. But he wasn't going to look up to see. Devin went on, because now little Hallie is crawling into the bounce house. She's the first one in. Her twin sister, Hope, is right behind her. Was that a gasp Devin heard from the third row desk? He thought it was. Good. Now he has her attention. He grinned and kept railing. Haley makes it almost all the way into the bounce house, her bright pink dress flashing off the powdery red vinyl floor. Faster, Hope urges, Haley pushing Haley's butt. Haley still crawls slowly until suddenly she's sucked inside the bounce house. Hope giggles and follows her. Devin stopped reading again, but was getting to the good part. But in a second, Hope is going to wish that she didn't follow her sister. In a second, she's looking down and she crawls inside, but now she's in. She looks up and sees her sister's partially eating body lying still in the red vinyl. No, wait, the vinyl isn't red. It's covered in blood. Was that a squeal Devin just heard? He kept reading. And the house isn't a house. It's a big mouth. And the mouth is chewing, and now it opening wider, and Hope, now screaming, is sliding into... That's enough, Miss Peterson shouted. Devin blinked. He still didn't look up. He wasn't finished. Devin blamed Marks. Miss Peterson spurted every one of Devin's 3 names like each was a spitball. Before he could respond, Miss Peterson's large square hand appeared in front of Devin's downward end gaze and snatched the story from his grasp. The pages rattled, and he felt a sting of paper cut on his web of skin between his thumb and index finger. Ow. The classroom was so silent, Devin could hear a bird chirping outside the window. He finally looked up and saw Miss Peterson. What? Miss Peterson shook her head, sending her blonde ponytail into a wild dance. Miss Peterson was an English teacher, but she also the girls' basketball coach. She was a huge woman, tall and broad on the shoulders. She towered over Devin. Devin was already 5'9", 5'9" tall for his age. If only he were coordinated enough to be a basketball player, maybe then he'd be part of Devin. Miss Peterson softened her deep voice, and Devin finally raised a gaze in her wide face. He even managed to meet her intense blue eyes. Mr. Patterson's eyes were scary. Everyone in class thought so. She would reduce you to a pile of smoke and ashes with just a look. Devin was happy she was still standing. He was still standing. Report to Mr. Wright's office. Mrs. Peterson ordered Devin to look into the story. Crumpled in Mr. Peterson's hand, he wanted to argue, but he shrugged and headed toward the classroom door. Heather sat in the second seat in the door, in the third row, and as he passed that row, he met her gaze. Had it worked? Heather was looking right at him. Yes. Heather Anders, one of the most popular girls in his class, who was by far the prettiest, had never, not even a single time, ever looked at Devin. As far as Heather and pretty much all the ninth grade class was concerned, Devin didn't exist. Or, if she had noticed he existed, he was nothing more than a part of scenery, like a blackboard or a chair. If it wasn't for Devin's best, the only friend, Mick, and his well-meaning but very annoying mom, Devin, would wonder if he did in fact exist. Sometimes he wasn't so sure, but today he existed and Heather saw him. Triumphant, he grinned at her and gave her a thumbs up, and he sauntered toward the classroom door. Heather rolled her eyes and said, "Geez, Devin, that was sick." Devin grinned wider as he stood tall and nodded at her, and then strode out of the classroom like he was heading to an important meeting instead of the principal's office. He had done it. Even though Heather never noticed Devin, he made a careful study of Heather. He watched her. He listened to her. He wanted to know everything about her. The previous week, while Mick was going on about his latest superhero obsession, Devin was listening to Heather talk to her girlfriends. She was complaining about her 4-year-old twin sisters, Haley and Hope. "They drive me crazy," she told Valerie and her friend. "I mean, seriously bonkers. I'm always having to babysit them, and I hate it. They're always getting into trouble, breaking something or whatever, and then I get in trouble. I hate them." The same day, Miss Peterson handed out the assignment to write an original short story. That's when Devin saw his chance. He saw it, he took it, and he made a most out of it. Who cared if it cost him a trip to the principal's office? It was the best creative artist had hidden depths lurking beneath the surface, and usually those depths were misunderstood. Devin and Mick met up after school at their regular spot in the back, at the edge of the teacher's parking lot. Devin couldn't wait to talk to Mick about what had happened with Heather. He hadn't thought to look at Mick before he left English class. He wasn't sure his friend saw what had happened. Mick tended to daydream. He was often caught staring out the school windows at the who knew what. When Devin reached Mick, Mick was juggling his bright purple backpack, a papier-mâché tiger, a plastic cup, and a curly straw. The stack of books that obviously wouldn't fit in an overstuffed backpack, and a half-eaten package of chocolate cupcakes. White frosting from the missing cupcake was stuck to his lower lip. Devin pointed at the frosting. "Huh? What? Oh." Mick wiped his mouth with the back of his hand, lowering the tiger. It made him look like he was being mauled. It also made him drop the stack of books within, smacked it on the ground and scattered. Devin looked at his head and bent over to pick them up. He stuck them on his way to the navy blue backpack, which was nearly empty. He had already done his homework for the day while he was hanging out with Mr. Wright's office. And unlike Mick, Devin had never read a book he wasn't required to read. "Sorry, oh, you got those?" Mick asked. "Yes." Mick squinted at Devin through the wound wire-rimmed glasses. He shoved his reddish blonde bangs off his freckled forehead. They ended up sticking up straight. "Where's your art project?" "I dumped it in the trash." "Why? That four-headed octopus was gnarly." Devin shrugged. He didn't tell Mick that he thought making papier-mâché animals was for kids, and that the art teacher, Mr. Stewart, had given Devin a D on the project and the lecture on following instructions instead of doing whatever he wanted. "These were supposed to be representations of real animals, Mr. Marks," Mr. Stewart had said. "How do you know there isn't a four-headed octopus?" Devin had responded. "Only 5% of the ocean floor has been explored." That had shut Mr. Stewart up. Devin didn't like reading books, but that didn't mean he didn't read. He spent most of the spare time on the internet. Mick stuffed the second cupcake in his mouth. The boys started walking away from the school. Mick took a noisy slurp from a straw. "That was skeevy short story, Dev. It kind of made me throw up in my mouth." Devin made Mick a gentle shove. "Gross. No grosser than your story. Whatever. Did you see what that Heather did, though? She was, like, really white. Her face, I mean. I thought she was gonna faint." "Yeah, but did you see her look at me?" Mick glanced at Devin, who bent down and picked up a round stone. He flung it at the stop sign, hit the middle of the O with a resounding metallic clink. "I saw her look at you like she wanted to kill you." "Nah, didn't you hear what she said?" Mick adjusted his backpack. "Yeah, she said the story was sick." "No, she said it was sick, as in cool." Mick screwed up a round face. I don't think so." Devin shrugged again, picking up another rock and fired at the lamppost. He got a resonant bong as a reward. "The point was she noticed me. She talked to me." Mick twisted a small mouth. "That's something." "Sure, it sure is." The boys had reached the railroad yard as a half mile from their school. They began weaving through the stationary, graffiti-covered boxcars. Railway yards smelled like oil and crystal, and it was filled with the sounds of train wheels clunking lethargically over dirty old rails. At the far side of the yard, the boys ducked into the woods that stretched for miles to the north beyond the railroad yard, from several miles east of the yard. At the back of their neighborhood to the west, the woods were thick and huge fir, hemlock trees that stood so closely together in places that blocked out the sun, creating perpetual dusk. On a cloudy day, the forest was even darker, like it was one big shadow engulfing the muting, the too loud, too bright, too busy craziness that most people called real life. Devin loved the darkness, and on sunny days like today, it was a relief to duck into the trees and have a blazing light behind. Halfway through the railroad yard in the neighborhood, if they stayed near the edge of the woods, they'd reach the Clubhouse, the hangout that they set up in an old abandoned gas station that backed into the woods for the 6 years they'd been friends. They'd spent nearly every afternoon after school, much of every weekend in their clubhouse. If Devin was honest, which he wasn't, he thought they were getting a little too old to have a clubhouse. It was fine that they were in the grade school and maybe even last year in middle school, but now that they were nearly in the end of their freshman year, it was too little kid for them. Devin had outgrown the pretend games of pirates and space cowboys, and he no longer saw the collection of junk they amused over the years as treasures. He didn't want to be one of the two boys who had no place to go after school other than tumbling down empty gas stations, but that didn't mean he had a problem with their clubhouse. It might not be a little kid fun for them anymore, but it was still a place to get away from all the crap of real life. It was a place he could go and forget about school and forget all about the pressure his mom is always putting him on to be somebody. Don't end up like me, Devin. Be somebody, she told him over and over and over. And don't you think, Mick asked? What? How long have we been walking along this listening to his friend? Devin had no idea what he'd missed, but he figured it probably wasn't important. Mick's latest favorite subject in conversation was a digital math game he was working on. It's going to be like playing Spy, like with ciphers, Mick had explained to Devin. Mick and Devin were mostly B's and C's, peppered with the occasional D at school. But that wasn't, however, because they were stupid. They weren't. Devin just never cared enough about school to apply himself. His mother's words, school bored him. Why work hard at it? Mick's problem was a little more serious. He had learning disorders. Devin didn't really understand, and he tended to have attention issues. We're not going to be labeled the boy, Mick's father said, according to Mick. So Mick had never been treated or anything. Basically, as far as Devin could tell, Mick was like a savant who couldn't figure out how to play a school game, and Mick didn't care at the school game. He was in love with food, the reason for his soft, slightly pudgy form, and fantasy worlds of any kind. Mick was an overgrown kid, most as tall as Devin. Mick's high-waisted corduroy pants and button-down short-sleeve shirts screamed nerd, but didn't seem to bother him. Devin figured someday Mick would probably own a gaming company and be a zillionaire. Devin, Mick yanked Devin's t-shirt sleeve. What? Mick blinked and looked around. They should be at the clubhouse by now. Yep, there's the old cedar tree and the split trunk, so where was the gas station? It's gone, Mick said in every small voice. It was right. The gas station was no longer there. In its place, a hulking yellow backshoe sat idle next to the mass of debris like a dragon went to spew fire on the defeated foe. Mike plopped down and followed along, but he blinked and sniffled. Our treasures! Devin, who was feeling strangely thrilled by the demolished clubhouse, looked at his friend. Mick's large brown eyes were moist. He rubbed his nose. Devin took a seat next to Mick and threw an arm around his shoulder. Hey, it's okay, but it's not. Look. Yeah, I'm looking. All our treasures, Mick repeated. Yeah, but we can find more. Not that Devin wanted to, but Mick needed to know that. Aw. Poor kids. Yep, that's 160. Not bad at all. Sad to see something like that happen. A clubhouse getting destroyed, I mean. Really, it is kind of sad because it's like, that's like their place when they were kids, and now it's just gone. See, I never had that problem. I'm a kid still, but as a kid, this might be different all around the world, but where I live right now, my friends are few and far in between. Reason is, not many people get people.
that's just kind of how that is. It's the end of the day. It's like how that works. Oh yeah, there's no more reading. If you're done with the reading, you can leave. I'm just gonna rant to make this video like 20 minutes long. So but the thing with like reading these books, and it does kind of make me sad. It's like the life I have as a child of like I hear stories from people like adults, and they're like, well, when I was a kid, me and my friends used to go out. Well, my son and his friends used to go out. Like, I talk to parents, I talk to friends, I talk to my brothers, I've talked to a lot of people who are older than me, and they're like, well, when I was a kid, me and my friends. It always has that sentence, when I was a kid, me and my friends. Let's see, what was the closest thing me and my friends did? We went to a roller rink, and everyone gave up on doing roller skating, so we started walking around and going on our phones. I didn't. I tried to spark conversation, but, we ended up going outside and watching. The part that I thought was kind of fun is we went outside and started watching Sonic Says, which is a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, or like TV show. It was like the original Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. But yeah, we did that at a roller rink. We wanted to go bowling this summer, but everyone's been radio silent. Kind of sad, actually. But yeah, I wanted to take this rant to somewhere of a lesson, and I still can. So the lesson is, don't look at your childhood negatively. Look at how, if you did have a negative childhood, look at how you can make your future kids' childhood better than your own. And I mean, honestly, even if you have a good childhood, I think that's a way you should still look at it. Because my mental thought is, I don't want my kid in the future to have a childhood like I'm having right now. In the future, if I'm still a YouTuber and I'm a little bit more successful, hell, I'd be happy. I'd be very happy. But I'd rather my kid, instead of staying home with his YouTube dad, I'd rather him go out and just do stuff in the world. I don't want him sitting inside and being lazy on games or on computers. I mean, yeah, actually, if he was able to play games with his friends on computers, I would love that. I'd be like, hey, that's cool. You and your buddies are playing, because that's kind of the new societal norm. It's kids playing together on computer, and it's sad, but what can you do? So if my kid had friends to play computer games with, then I'd support him. I'd go, hell yeah. But make sure you go outside once a day. Make sure you keep up on your chores or whatever the hell I'll make him or her do. I just want them to be productive. I want them to be healthy. I think that's what every parent wants at the end of the day. I mean, hell, I'm a kid still, so I don't know why I'm talking about being a parent. But it's always good to look towards the future positively. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not looking at towards the future. I'd be a terrible parent. I think I would be a decent parent, just personally. I think there's a lot of places I can learn, like, differently. But, end of the day, I think I'm a good parent because I look at my positives, not my negatives. I mean, if I were to look at my negatives, I think I'd be an awful parent. But I'm looking towards the positives of, I try my best to be nice when I want to be. When I'm messing around with someone, I'm joking. And, yeah, just honest. I think everything is everything. I trust everyone and respect. Not many, but I respect. I treat everyone equal. And I hope in the future my equality treatment is more positive than today. And even if I'm the nicest person on the planet, I think that's still a sentence I could say. Because no one can be truly nice. It's just not how the human body is built. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, look positively towards your future. That's about the lesson I'll teach you here. And drink tons of water or something like that. Right, to continue on. I haven't had a lot of experiences as a kid with friends, because when I was younger, a couple years ago, I looked at friends as kind of a dumb thing. I saw it as a niche. I saw it as I have friends, but I don't want to hang out with them. And I don't know why I looked at it that way, but I just did. Just honest and true, I did. The way I look at friends kind of nowadays is, shit, why did I think that way when I was younger? Because now all of my quote-unquote friends and buddies, they're all busy doing their own thing. They're hanging out in their own groups. I don't have a group. I'm what they call the bottom man. I'm what they... no one calls that. But they call it some stupid name. But basically, I'm kind of the line of... Our best guy's out of the game. We need to invite someone. That's me. I'm not in a friend group. I'm not in any type of anything. I mean, hell, in the future I might be. I'm part of one group called the Idiots. That's the only thing I'm ever going to be in. Because I don't fit in any group. That's bottom line. My dreams for a group would probably be where we can all game and record together. It doesn't even matter on the views. Just as long as we can hang out. And the recording thing is a little bit more special to me. Like if we were play games together and record. Because then I can look back and see happy memories if I'm sad. That's the only reason why I think I'd record it. But yeah, that's about my dreams. That's why I like recording games or streamings. Not because of monetary gain. It's just in the future if I get sad or whatever, I have a backup. I have a way to look at like, hey, I was happy here. Why can't I be happy now? Kind of a way to look back. I know these videos don't get views. I know that I'm not getting subscribers. I'm stuck at a measly 48. I understand that. And I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, others' opinions really don't matter to me. I mean, of course, majority opinions matter. Like, the way I look, the way I smell, the way I blah, blah, blah. Those matter, because that's just... You should be living as a citizen of this planet. You shouldn't be living like trash. You shouldn't be smelling bad because others are like, whatever. They're like, well, they don't understand. I don't smell it. No, you should take care of yourself. It's just everyone has a different way of looking at it. My mentality is I don't care for others' opinions except if it's like something with my health. And you know, actually, I can't say that. Because if I did say that, I'm pretty sure I'd get a phone call as soon as this come out. Someone yelling at me, oh, you can care about your health, you should go to a hospital. Then I'd be like, fuck no. Yeah. That's a story for another time. Hell, maybe if I ever get on a podcast or whatever. Also, if you guys want to know a fun little fact, there's a link right now. The link in the description of my videos, if any of you are watching this right now, has changed a little bit. It changed about a couple weeks ago. I don't know what day this is coming out, but I'm recording this on July 12th. There's a video, but I changed the description of something. I changed the description of all my videos because YouTube's doing something stupid, and oopsie whoopsie is not anything anymore. I deleted it fully. And yeah. Just, it's sad to see, but it's okay. It's just something that happened. It's because, well, my partner who wanted to, my partner in recording crime just didn't want to record anymore. So, stopped it entirely. Killed the entire operation. Sad because I do want to do recordings with a person or YouTuber, but you know, sometimes in life you don't get everything you want, and I think that's something everyone can go home with today. Or you know, you're probably watching this in your home, but this is probably something you can click off the video and kind of look at your life differently about. What's the lesson of today? Maybe every reading episode I should make a lesson, but then again, next episode, which I'm about to record in like 20 minutes, I'm not going to have a lesson, but sometimes I'll have a lesson, and today's lesson will be, don't look at the world negatively, which is probably going to be the basis of every single one of my lessons, but take everything as it is. If you really want to take something with a grain of salt, just make sure later you add some sugar. It's not going to be the same, but at least it'll be the same in your mind. Basically what that means is, right now I can hate something. Right now, I hate my hair. Because I had it cut, and the poof on my head is very annoying, because I can feel it weird. It feels weird. So right now I hate it. I'm not going to lie to you. But I know later in my life, like in about a week, I won't even have an opinion. I'll like it again because this is my old haircut. And it'll be nice and stuff. But hey, maybe I'll just get it cut. But basically what I'm going to teach you guys today is take something with a grain of salt at the moment, but add some sugar later. Look at the world positively, so maybe you won't have to add any salt. You know? I think that's just how that is by the end of the day. Wow, I've been ranting longer than this video has actually been recorded. Sorry about that. I get in my little rants. Anyways, hope you guys have a super fantastic, wonderful day. Be polite, be efficient. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, or unsubscribe, or unlike, dislike. Oh, wait, you can't dislike anymore. I don't know. Do something. But, yeah. If you guys are reading with me, cool. Good for you. If you guys ain't, cool. Good for you. If you're just listening to this to sleep, then hope you have a good rest or whatever. I hope you wake up tomorrow with a smile. And, yeah. That's about it. Hope you guys have a super fantastic, wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.